the night, rising above the rustling leaves and the distant howl of unseen creatures. The village sleeps, but not for long. Shadows stretch beneath the full moon, trembling at the weight of something old, something forgotten. A gasp escapes as hands recoil from the newborns. Dark curls coil tightly on their tiny heads, twisting like roots of an ancient tree. Eyes widen, lips part, but no words dare to form. The midwife stumbles back, pressing against the hut's walls, whispering a name long buried in fear. Mutterings ripple through the night, carried from one mouth to another like a cursed wind. Wrinkled hands grip wooden staffs, heads shake, and warnings slither between gritted teeth. Spirits born in flesh, the Onahi walk again. A mother's arms tighten, defiant. Her heartbeat drums against the tiny bodies, shielding them from the whispers, from the fear. Eyes burn, daring anyone to take what is hers. A single voice rises above the hushed murmurs. They are mine. They will live. Morning light brings no peace. Some eyes soften, seeing a blessing wrapped in swaddled cloth. Others turn away, lips curling in fear. Words are spoken in hushed tones, never loud enough to reach the mother's ears. Cursed, chosen, damned, blessed. Beyond the village, under the watchful gaze of the trees, a lone hunter stills. His pulse quickens as shadows shift, slipping between the trunks like whispering figures. Something is watching. Something that should not be. Dawn stretches over the land, casting long fingers of light through the village. The hunter's place at the fire is empty. His spear lies half buried in the dirt. His footprints lead away, then stop. The wind carries no scent, no sound. He is gone. They walked among their people but did not belong. Eyes followed them, some filled with fear, others with curiosity. The whispers never stopped. Mothers pulled their children close. The old men muttered behind their hands. The women at the river never spoke their names. Their hair was the sign. Thick dark locks, untouched by time. They never tangled, never shed, never changed. Under the moon, they held a faint glow, like embers beneath ash. The nights were the worst. The wind spoke in hushed tones, calling softly. One name. Over and over. The boy sat up, heart pounding. The voice was not of the living. The other watched the walls. The dark shapes twisted and stretched, shifting when no one moved. Shadows without owners. The warrior knew. He had seen the way the elders' eyes lingered too long, the way the hunters grew silent when the boys passed. The warning was firm. They must never show their gifts. The village would not understand. But fate does not wait for warnings. A child burned with fever. His breath was shallow, his eyes unfocused. No mother to hold him, no father to carry him. He stumbled forward, drawn to something unseen. Small fingers reached out, weak and desperate. The strands of hair slipped through them like silk. A breath. A pause. The heat vanished. His skin cooled. Strength rushed into his bones. Gasps filled the air. Eyes widened in horror. Feet scrambled backward, dust rising in clouds. A miracle. A curse. The line between them was thin, and fear was always stronger than wonder. The air in the gathering was heavy. Wrinkled faces stayed grim, their eyes cold with certainty. The whispers had grown louder, the fear deeper. The time for silence had passed. A curse walked among them. The village would not survive if nothing was done. A woman fell to her knees, arms trembling, voice cracking. She spoke of dreams, of spirits, of gifts meant for greatness. They had not been born cursed. They had been chosen. But her words carried no weight. The elders did not see blessings in things they feared. A young voice cut through the murmurs, smooth with confidence, sharp with ambition. The village had suffered long enough. Fear must be crushed before it spread further. The only cure was fire. The only answer was death. The old ones nodded, their heads heavy with the burden of their decision. There was only one who could confirm the truth, only one whose sight stretched beyond the eyes of men. The call was sent. The earth shook beneath each step as the figure arrived, wrapped in cloth older than memory. A wooden staff struck the ground. The wind stilled. The command was final. Bring them. Their fate was no longer their own. The flames danced high in the night, crackling like hungry spirits. Hidden in the darkness, breath held tight, small figures listened. The words spoken inside the chief's hut carried no mercy. By morning, they would not see another sun. The drums of the village faded behind them. Feet moved quickly, hands clasped tightly. Shadows swallowed their forms as they ran, leaving behind the only home they had ever known. The night stretched wide before them, silent but alive. The wind whispered, not in fear, but in welcome. The trees shifted, not to block, but to guide. Something unseen waited ahead, calling them forward, leading them into the unknown. Cold air wrapped around them, thick with something unseen. Their feet stopped. Walls of stone loomed ahead, covered in shapes, small figures with hair like theirs, glowing under the moon's light. Fingers traced the carvings. These children were not feared. They were honored. A breath of wind stirred the dust. The carvings pulsed. A voice rose from the shadows, soft as a whisper, deep as the earth. Not lost. Chosen. A figure stepped forward, light twisting around its form. The voice spoke again, words weaving through the air. Blood of the guardians. Keepers of the land. The power was theirs to command, if they were strong enough to claim it. Flames flickered in the distance. Voices cut through the silence. The hunt had begun. The order was sharp. Find them before the spirits do. A glint of metal, a blur of movement. The first strike came fast. A blade swung through the air. Feet moved without thought. Hands clenched, useless, until darkness stretched and swallowed the strike whole. A gasp. Fingers brushed against bark. Something ancient stirred beneath the touch. Roots thickened, leaves trembled. A dying thing woke, surging with life. Cries rang out. Fire met shadow. Steel met wood. The ground pulsed, shifting beneath hurried steps. The forest was no longer silent. It was alive. A sharp whistle. A flash through the air. Pain struck deep, sudden and fierce. A gasp. A stumble. Light flickered, dimming. A shadow loomed above, weapon raised, words laced with triumph. It ends now. The shrine groaned. The air thickened, cracks split the earth, crawling toward the raised blade. The glow burst free, searing through the night. A scream. The ground opened, swallowing fear, swallowing fury. The last cry faded. The earth closed once more. Silence returned. The shrine stood unshaken. The land had chosen. The whispers rose, soft as the wind, circling the fallen boy. Shadows stretched, bending toward him. Light flickered in the air. The spirits had come. Their voices carried power, wrapping around his wounds. Flesh mended, breath steadied. The glow returned. A voice echoed through the shrine, deep and endless. Not cursed, chosen, blood of the guardians, protectors of the land. Darkness had come before. It would come again. The duty was theirs now. Hands clenched. Eyes met. The path was clear. Feet pressed forward, stepping out of the trees. The village waited beyond, the place that once cast them away. A staff struck the ground. A sharp voice rang out, cutting through doubt. Fools. They are no curse. They are your shield, your strength. The crowd shifted, uneasy. Fear clung to the air, thick and silent. No one spoke, no one moved. They had seen the power. They could not deny it. A heavy sigh. A bowed head. Regret sat heavy on weary shoulders. A son lost to greed. A mistake that could not be undone. The exile is lifted. Back straightened. Shoulders squared. No longer outcasts. No longer afraid. The wind stirred, carrying the whispers of change. A new dawn had come.